Holy crap, we made it back for season 6. Here we are, take 2. I will not let you behind the scenes. Let me just let you know that this is take 2 of Matt Man season 6, episode 1. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am so confused. I've got my monitor to my right of me. I'm staring at the camera, trying to keep eye contact with you, even though that's a big lie because we're on Zoom. Otherwise, I'm doing great.
It's weird. It's one of the issues I had with Blue Moon when I had monitors facing me before we started running.
Yep.
And then like the director part of my brain wouldn't turn off, so I just kept wanting to look into the monitors, and finally I'd have to have them turned around.
Oh yeah. I got a monitor here. I got a monitor here. You guys will see me looking everywhere, but for the most part, I'm trying to stare in your lovely, lovely eyes as we do this podcast. We've got a lot to get to, so let's start the show. The Academy Awards woke up early this morning to tell us who was going to be nominated for their award ceremony. I've got a lot of opinions. Matt's got a lot of opinions. Let's start right at the top. 10 nominations this year for Best Movie of the Year, including All's Quiet on the Western Front. I don't understand that. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's get with the people that didn't make it. You have one, and I have one.
But okay, so here's the thing about All Quiet on the Western Front, right?
Yes.
So it's nominated for Best Foreign Language.
Yes.
And Best Picture.
Yes.
Which basically means since RRR could not get nominated for Best Foreign Language Film because of a whole bunch of weird stuff that had nothing to do with the Oscars, but India, they didn't put that one up, right? The last hope was that it would be nominated for Best Picture, right?
Sure.
But it didn't, and it kind of feels like its spot got taken by All Quiet.
I would suggest that Babylon's spot got taken by All Quiet because I think it's absurd that it's not one of the 10. The Academy is going to feel dumb in a decade when everybody goes, wow, Babylon was by far the best movie that year. How come they didn't nominate it? Another error on the Academy Awards, but that's okay because they did nominate. So.
Batman didn't get nominated for Best Cinematography, which is kind of surprising because that movie is gorgeous.
I think a lot of people forgot about that movie because it came out so early.
Well, not just that, but I don't know. Like Fabelmans didn't get nominated for Best Picture either, and Women Talking did, and that one has that been making waves at other award shows?
Yes, Women Talking is on the come up. It's definitely they had a good time. It is trajectory is facing straight on up. So I'm interested to see about that. I have not seen it yet. I'm very curious to see it. I love that idea too. I'm going to sidetrack real quick while we're talking about something. Hey, industry people, if Women Talking can do 10-hour days and make a movie that may win an Academy Award or 3, how about you think about the fact that 10 hours a day is enough to shoot, or even 12, but stop shooting 15. Anyways, I got sidetracked. Let's go back to the nominations. Was there big surprises for the 10 besides the All's Quiet on the Western Front?
Again, RRR not getting the nomination I think is surprising, especially from a lot of podcasts I've been listening to with people who are part of the Academy. They thought that it would kind of just steamroll through a little bit, and that didn't happen.
Not at all.
Yeah,
it is weird. Like, I don't know. Remind me the last Bollywood type movie that was successful at the Oscars.
None. And that one's not, and that one's Tollywood. That's a Telugu film, not Hindi.
So. My apologies. I definitely apologize for that. I am wondering,
but it's without a doubt the most successful film to ever come from India.
Sure,
it's broken every record that Indian films have held outside of their country. And when it played at the Chinese theater a couple weeks ago, it sold out in a minute.
So there's always got to be one that comes first and just doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Do you think that in the future there will be more of these type of movies available because
without a doubt. Like the Cinemark by my house already shows 3 to 6 Indian films every week. And I don't think that RRR is going to do anything but bolster that. And it's kind of like how Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon made American audiences kind of aware of Hong Kong films a little bit more. I think it's same thing here.
Well, let's get you on the record. 10 options for you. RRR, unfortunately, not one of them. What do you think on this day, whatever today is? is going to win for Best Picture this year?
Man, I don't know, because it's such kind of a weird group that I can kind of see anything winning. But right now, I'm kind of thinking Banshees is going to take it.
I also think that Banshees is the top. Number 2 is going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that's going to have some good moments going into it.
I think it'll I think it'll win other awards. It might take editing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to get Best Picture. It feels too genre pulpy for them to actually give it to it. You know, it's kind of like when they nominated The Dark Knight for Best Picture, or Mad Max, where it's like Mad Max getting nominated for Best Picture was kind of incredible. You know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so is my backup is number 2, The Fabelmans? Do we agree Fabelmans is probably going to be your alternative?
I didn't think that one got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
It did. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. When I read a list and I didn't see it. In that case, I think it'll go to Fabelmans. It'll go to Fabelmans, especially since, my number 1 is Fabelmans. My number 2 would be Banshees, just because Fabelmans kind of has this through line of the magic of movies, and I think that's kind of the theme of the year, with something that's a big populist film like Top Gun getting nominated for Best Picture.
But Babylon didn't, and that's all about the wonders of cinema.
That's also because like people didn't see Babylon, and those who did are very torn on it. And there's not a person alive, I think, who saw Top Gun and was like, oh, that sucked. Everyone's at least, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I would love for that to win. That would be fantastic.
I would too, but it's not.
Elvis is going to win before that's going to win.
Elvis might take cinematography. It might.
It's going to win some awards, that's for sure. Most importantly, probably going to take lead actor. That would be my guess.
I honestly think it'll win editing.
Lead actors,
but Brendan Fraser's nominated for actor, right?
Yep, doesn't matter.
No, it'll go to him. There's a reason it didn't.
Okay. My dollar to your dollar says Elvis is going to win over The Whale, which is sad to me because I thought Brendan Fraser did a fantastic job. But that's also a movie that people are very polarized on. They're like,
except for him.
But that hate on the movie itself, I think.
But here's the thing: except for the Golden Globes, he's basically won everything.
Yeah.
So it'll go to him. If you want to do a wager, I would love to do one.
Man, I got to win for Elvis. Fine, I'll bet on Elvis just because I'm fascinated that he just keeps doing his Elvis. He just continues and continues.
No, he's not just continuing. He's doubled down,
triple down.
Yeah. So honestly, if he wins, I want him to just do one thing. And I can't believe he didn't do it at this last one. If he wins, he just needs to go up there and go, thank you very much, and then walk off. And that's it.
That would be amazing. That
would be up there with like, I'm king of the world and you like me, you really like me. Like that will make Oscar history. But okay, what's the wager? Like we have to pick a film for the other person to watch and review.
Yeah, sure. Sold.
Okay. All right.
Sold. On to regular movie news.
Hope
Avatar.
You like musicals.
That's fine. Avatar is still at the top of the box office, as you had predicted. Still going strong, over 2 billion now, and does not seem to be slowing down, which is kind of a surprise. I mean, it seems like people are like, hello, if you just give us a good movie in the theater, we'll go back to the theaters. So that's
the same thing happened with Top Gun.
Yep.
But then again, like every single movie that Cameron does has legs.
Amazing that he's able to do that.
My buddy Dax, who we have to have on the show, he said that there's a secret sauce to making movies that only Cameron knows, and he has to be right, because I don't know how he does it. He just keeps making monstrous hit after monstrous hit.
It's unbelievable. When
your least successful movie is The Abyss.
Yeah. Not shabby. Not
right.
Can you imagine? Jesus, what a career. And you get to go down to the Mariana Trench. Hey, so I know you probably haven't looked too far ahead, but do you think this movie will knock Avatar off the list? It's a little movie called Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist. I'm just kidding.
No,
that's not going to do it. I don't honestly know what's on the calendar that's going to do it. I mean, I've been looking.
It'll probably be some like little horror movie or something coming out.
It seems to be probably that that new 80 for Brady comes out. Do you think old ladies will pay that much to go see that? I mean, what does Avatar's make it still?
It might, because the thing is, like, Avatar's not putting up huge numbers. It's just consistent right now. Right. So it seems like the next thing that takes it out will be able to do it with like an $18 million weekend.
Well,
you're not gonna have someone come in and say, we put up $300 million this weekend to take it out.
Well, I think you may be wrong on that, because we make it to February 9th. Magic Mike's Last Dance comes out. Woo, baby.
As much as I'm gonna love it, it's not like the last one made a ton, right?
I don't think it did, but I think we're going to go back to one numbers. That's my guess. But I think that's going to be the one that takes it out. But I agree, it's not going to be.
I think you might be right. I think it might be 80 for Brady.
80 for Brady. How crazy. They have been doing a lot of work with the stars recently that we don't hear about, but we all know that it's happening. De-aging is the newest thing in Hollywood. At least they aren't messing up their faces anymore, but it's still a weird trend. There was an article this week on MovieWeb about 85% of movie stars have been de-aged in the process within the last couple of years in movies. How are we feeling about this?
It was inevitable. What was really interesting was finding out that when they made Pee-wee's Big Holiday a few years ago, that was actually one of the movies that first completely de-aged a main character all the way through. Like, the entire film, Paul Reubens had his face de-aged, but they didn't tell anybody at the time. We watched it, we're like, something looks a little off, maybe he had some work done or something. No, it turns out they digitally de-aged him, and it was just kind of it wasn't early for digital de-aging, but to do it for an entire movie, it's different than like one or two scenes. Okay. I definitely think you're gonna see more AI used instead of, because before de-aging, you either do a 3D face, which is very time consuming and very tough to do, or you do a 2D process, right? That's traditionally the way it's been, where you're basically like nipping and tucking, like you're actually like reshaping the face in a 2D mat while painting out wrinkles and stuff. But with deep faked AI, you don't have to do that anymore. And if you have an actor like Samuel L. Jackson, right, who has, billions of hours of reference, you have him performing in a scene, and you can deep fake his face, and it's on his body. It is his performance. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that. A lot more.
Look, in the vanity business, like you said earlier, it was inevitable to happen. But for the most part, I don't mind this. I'd way rather this than you doing green screen background work that you still sometimes doing in some ways. And that's what I don't like. The aging face doesn't seem to bother me. I mean, if it's comfortable for the actor and they approve it. Now, I'm worried that we get into situations where they start doing all kinds of messing with things without asking approval, and and then
you can't do that. Thanks to Crispin Glover, you can't do that.
But you couldn't. We have Roe versus Wade too, so things change, things evolve. The business is always going to be such that somebody's trying to do crap like that, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen, especially on a smaller movie or something like that.
So how do you feel about something like The Mandalorian or Boba Fett, where they took they recreated a young Mark Hamill, right? They had him on set as kind of reference, but none of the footage was used. Okay, what they did was they had another performer come in, someone who has his build, right, and he did the scene, and then they did a deep fake combination deep fake 3D for the face, and then they used an AI synthesized voice, right? So it's something that Mark Hamill said, okay, that's fine, but at the end of the day, they're all signing their likeness rights away, right? So you're using another performer to recreate someone else's performance. Like that's kind of a mind job.
So we're almost in the sense that just the way that actors do for Planet of the Apes or in Nope, they did animals. So it's almost like they're treating these actors like animals now, in the sense that, oh, we're just going to do this. By the way, side note, have you seen that video about the behind the scenes when they were making Nope, and the guy like had the whole outfit on? It was crazy. Like he so got meta into his performance. Anyways, sidetracked us there. It's weird. It's definitely weird. I don't think that it's going to affect too much, in the sense that, again, we were going to be here anyhow. I'm so glad that we're not in the 80s when they were doing the plastic surgery and trying to fix all things. I'd way rather you do that in camera, editing and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's a strange new world out there. I'm glad they're doing things like Star Wars, because those are the masters of doing this kind of stuff, for the last 30 years. The first wave of technology has always run through Star Wars. So I'm glad they're doing that. Hopefully
I'll say this. Have you seen the latest Mission Impossible trailer?
Yes.
There's this one close-up of Ethan Hunt where he looks very young.
Mm-hmm.
Like younger than he looked in Top Gun, which was shot like 4 years ago.
Yes. What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting a thing. Not one thing. Not at all.
Shop slobbed at Christopher McQuarrie.
No, because I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, that's incredible makeup. Like that's really, he looks great.
Yeah.
But then part of me is like, he looks younger than he did in the movie that he shot before. So it would not surprise me if this kind of stuff was getting used, because I mean, they've been doing that for a while, where people would, in like the early 2000s, it became very common to have actresses have like digital smoothing done on their faces.
Sure.
Like that was very common, and you can go back and take a look at movies and music videos especially and see just how egregious it is.
I like my crow's feet. I want to keep it as long as possible. You know whose dream face mine is? Oh, you know what? Here's your question. You think about that while I answer the question. My dream face is Tommy Lee Jones. There are so many stories that can be told on those wrinkles. Oh, I love his face.
That's not a bad one. I actually really like that.
Magic.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Kurt Russell.
Equally as magical.
Just because he's got the greatest squint in the business.
Speaking of squints and such things, I had a little interesting idea this week, and I thought you'd like to join me in this. Let's talk about greatest body parts in cinema history. Now let's define this.
Let's get Dirk Diggler out of the way.
We're not here to be perverts. I'm fascinated by smiles. That became my fascination this week. Watching Tom Cruise in Top Gun or whatever it is, that just, it illuminates this magic on screen that very few people can do. So I just wanted to talk about the different kind of things with the feet and the hands. I can't wait till we talk about hands, but that's our topic this time. Best body parts. So did you want to start with Dirk Diggler? Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, we'll just say Dirk Diggler, best fake penis.
Was there any other options available? How about Hunger, the Steve McQueen film? There was some penis in there. Or American Gigolo.
Well, I went with fake penis. So
were those real penises? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. In Nymphomaniac, I believe they were real penises.
I guess it really comes down to either a big fake penis with Boogie Nights or a mangled fake penis from Sleepaway Camp.
Tough choices there, but since the whole movie was about the penis, let's go with Boogie Nights, Dirk Diggler's penis. Boom! Best penis in movie history. Let's move on to another avenue. How about, do you want to go with best mustaches, shall we?
I think they're really only there are a few. For my runner-up, it's got to be Burt Reynolds.
That's fair. That's a good solid choice.
But my number one's Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott,
he is more mustache than man.
That is true. His mustache has its own Instagram page, so that's pretty good.
It does. I follow it.
I spend more time in the 80s than you do, so I'm going to have to give you one Tom Selleck as a fantastic movie mustache. And early movies like Her Alibi, and then that other series that I've been watching recently to fall asleep. Tom Selleck, never disrespect the man, the myth, the legend. How about some wispier mustaches? We've had some really good wispy mustaches over the years.
Oh, well, I mean, John Waters, what's his name? Vincent Price.
Oh, Vincent Price.
That's a very classic
one.
mustache. We're also forgetting probably the most famous mustache in cinema history.
Please hit me.
Charlie Chaplin.
There you go. The great Charlie Chaplin before it was the Hitler, before it was the Jordan.
Okay, I put my best pick as Sam Elliott. I'm gonna change it, even though it's not real. I'm changing it to Chaplin, just because if you put a picture of, a bowler hat and then like a little black square, you're just gonna automatically think Chaplin. So yeah, I'm
gonna one up you on that, and I'm gonna go Groucho Marx and his completely fake mustache that was on.
It's not a mustache. It doesn't count.
You see it in high definition now, and it's just insane to me, and I love it. And it's
doesn't count. There's no even. It doesn't even pretend to be hair. That is a smudge. That's a smudge.
That's
now if we were going TV, we'd probably have to. It'd be a showdown between Magnum PI and Ron Swanson. Very different types of mustaches.
But... Sure. Adrian Brody also had a nice mustache in one of the, what was he, a bellhop in? The Wes Anderson film that he's a bellhop. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
Moving on. How about my favorite category? I'm going to do it right now. Let's talk best hands in cinema. Now, this doesn't just have to be the pretty model hands like in Zoolander. No. I want to get deep into hand movement, hand gestures, and the way the hands look. But I'll go
Doug Jones.
You. Talk to me.
Doug Jones.
Okay.
If you notice, he's under so much prosthetic work most of the time that he does a lot of emoting with his hands. And one of his most famous characters is the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth, which had the hands and I'm going with Doug Jones.
I love that. And I also love, we started off season 6 as weird as possible, because that's who we are.
Right.
I'm going to give you Jeremy Renner from The Town. He had fat man hands, and at one point in time, he rubs them together like all like criminal men kind of do. Like you could like hear the dead skin just like scraping back and forth. Jeremy Renner had his best hand work performance in The Town by far.
If we want to go with okay, I'm going to give 2 special.
I love it. Yes, do it.
Awards. One is best hand acting in technically a movie, but not quite. And that's the guy who plays Hercules Mulligan and James Madison in Hamilton, because he does so much finger acting that like that's all I can see every time he's on screen is just so just everything is pointing. And then I think I've got to go with best fake hands, and that's Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, Tropic Thunder, baby. Just give me fat hands and let me dance.
Yep. It's perfect. It's perfect.
That's a lot of things about that man, but it's stuff like that reminds me how much I love him in the movie setting. He just loves everything.
He wants to make movies. That's all he wants to do.
Can we talk about? Ooh, boy, this next one is tough. Do we want to? Let's go eyes first. Let's go classic eyes. Now, first of all, I want you to talk to the people a little bit about classic cinema, how they used to use the lights on the eyes, and certainly actresses had different ways that they like to be lit on their eyes. So talk to them a little bit about those kind of things.
Well, I actually, my professor and mentor, Billy Fraker, was very upset at us in class once because he's like, none of you show the eyes. You got to see the eyes. And if you take a look at something like Tombstone, where there's so much natural light and everyone's wearing big brimmed hats, and yet you can still see their eyes without them being overexposed or having the background overexposed behind them. It's incredible.
Masterwork.
So yeah, obviously, especially the I love the old 40s, 30s and 40s trope of the highlight across the eyes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. The thing is, the look, and I mean, yeah, you have to put up, you have your eye light, you have lights that you put up to get specific highlights in the eyes. Like they would do different setups on the character Galadriel in Lord of the Rings. So her reflection, the highlight in the eyes would look different than everyone else, like more ethereal, mystical, magical, right? For me though, a lot of it comes down to color and like eyes that you're just like, whoa. And one of them is Elijah Wood. That guy has the most blue eyes. I've met him a couple of times, and yeah, just the bluest eyes. And I've got very blue eyes, and his eyes make mine look dull. It's kind of incredible. So I'm going with him or Meg Foster. And anyone who's seen They Live will know exactly what I'm talking about. The second she's on screen, you're just like, you can't take your eyes off of her eyes. They are just gorgeous.
I love eyes for movies in the sense that that's what the big screen is all about. Like that's where I think movies were created for eyes, and be able to see that on the big screen, whatever that you're watching. That's another reason to go see things in the theater rather than on your phone, because the eyes aren't just, they just don't pop. It's just a different.
Then I'm surprised you could stand Blue Moon, because that whole movie's like lit from the top, and we have really dark under the eyes. Although I think it works for the movie, but
it did. But your eyes popped on the big screen. Trust me. Mine is going to be a movie that some people might have heard of. It's called Breakfast at Tiffany's. Anytime I think of Audrey Hepburn, I think of those eyes in that movie, and her work on there between Puppy Dog and Pain and Anger and just everything she did with her eyes was unbelievable. If it was just a movie of her eyes, I could just watch the whole thing, because that's where she does her work, and she was fantastic at that, and a bazillion different things. But when I think of Audrey Hepburn and those eyes, I think of Breakfast at Tiffany's.
So question about that. How did that movie turn into what it is, where it's one of these that like women will have the poster on their dorm and everyone remembers the fashion and like, oh, they're going to the Five and Dime and everything's fun, and completely forgetting about everything else in the movie that's very dark and depressing. It's just it's a sad movie about broken people who like can't find anything happy in their lives. It's a really downer of a flick.
Well, I think they see her the same way that they ignore things in Staying Alive. I mean, that's a
gang rape not Staying Alive. You mean Saturday
Night Fever? Yeah, that's a gang rape movie, but people just completely forget about that. And I think in Breakfast at Tiffany's, at least early on, she was a independent woman. She could do all those things by herself.
Until you find out more about her.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. People just remember the first half, the first 30 minutes, and completely ignore the rest of the movie. So that's why how it happens. One more piece of body work to go through, and that's the most important one. How about let's talk about smiles. Smiles is everything in cinema. It tells so much about an actor or an actress, what they are, who they are, how they do it. I've seen a bazillion of my favorite smiles on the big screen in the movie theater. Who are some of your favorite smiles in movies?
My runner-up is Dennis Quaid.
Ooh, nice.
That's a great smile. And my winner is Audrey Hepburn. Especially there are a couple of moments in Sabrina that I think about, and yeah, her smile is like captivating. When she smiles on camera, you're like, oh, that's what a movie star is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I'm going to give you a doesn't count, but I want to say it anyhow, and I'm going to give you Tarantino's smile. When he smiles, when he's on camera, it makes me giddy. He's just so goofy and silly, and just like everything goes behind a smile. So that's my doesn't count. Let's see. So Margot Robbie's smile is the bee's knees to me right now. After seeing Babylon, some of the other stuff that she's done, that smile just lights up a room. I think the same way as Julia Roberts' smile used to light up a room. I think that they're equal in that way. I think that she brings the same everything to Julia Roberts. I think Margot Robbie will continue to be the greatest actress working for the next decade. And Ryan Gosling's adorable smile always gets me as well.
I think adorable is probably the best description of his smile. It's so sweet.
I can't wait till Barbie. I've said, just him.
Barbie. I'm telling you. Okay, so I said this in jest after I saw the first leaked photos. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be the greatest movie ever made." And now that I saw the trailer, I think I'm right. I think it might be one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yep.
It's going to be this weird subversive comedy about sexual identity and like gender politics and consumerism.
Yeah,
and it's going to be glorious.
It's going to be the best satire since Josie and the Pussycats.